Okay, so this is lesson 95, and it is on reducing rates before multiplying. So I figure we better start with rates. What's a rate? It's a ratio of measures. So usually you're thinking of 2 units. So let's do 8 miles per hour. So another way I could write that is 8 miles per 1 hour. Or I could write 8 miles per hour. If there's nothing there, we assume that it's 1, right? So let's assume, I don't know, maybe I have a really fast golf cart or a really slow car. Oh, look, here's Minnie. She can be our driver. She's going 8 miles per hour. That doesn't really help me so much when I'm doing math, so I'm going to write it like that. And I'm going to say Minnie's driving 8 miles an hour, and she wants to go for 3 hours. Okay, so she's going to drive for 3 hours. How far is she going to go? So I'll put my 3 hours somewhere over here. And my question is, how far? So what's my answer? What units is my answer going to be in? How far? It's going to be in miles, isn't it? We want to know how many miles she goes. So we're going to say 8 miles per hour for 3 hours. And remember, anything over 1 is the same as itself. So if I just multiply 8 miles, oops, I get 24. That's a 24. That doesn't look like it. Miles and hours. I got to multiply my units over 1 hour. That's crazy looking, isn't it? I don't want to do that. So, pardon me, Minnie. Come back in the picture. There you go. 8 miles, 1 hour times 3 hours over 1. Can I cancel these hours? Forget the numbers for a minute. Let's just look at units. So I have miles, hours over hours. Oh, wait. Let's write this a different way. 8 miles times 3 hours, and then 1 times 1 hour, right? So remember that commutative property says I can mix those numbers up. It doesn't matter whether I multiply 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. So if I have this, I can write it this way, right? That means also that I can write it this way. And can I cancel anything over itself? Cool. So now I have 8 miles times 3 over 1. So my answer, I'm only left with miles. I don't have that crazy miles, hours over hours thing. I want to be able to cancel out whatever units I can, right? Okay. All right, Minnie. Okay. So my rate, remember, it could be anything, miles per hour, miles for every hour, anytime I'm comparing 2 measures. So cross-canceling, I'm doing the same thing. This is the example they gave in the book. 3/4 times 2/5 times 5/6. I could absolutely multiply all that out because I have 3 times 2 is 6, times 5 is 30, 4 times 5 is 20, times 6 is 120. So I could do that. But I want to make those numbers smaller if I can. So I'm going to rewrite it this way. So I'm going to keep my top the same and just multiply all the tops. And then I'm going to take my bottom and see if I can match them so I can reduce that. So I'm going to say, oh, that 6 can come over here. That 4 can come over here. That 5 can be 5. And look at that, what I have. I have an easy 1/2, an easy 1/2, and an easy 1, right? So I cross-cancel them. So let's do that without all the rewriting. I can say 2 divided by 2 and 4 divided by 2, right? That's a 1, that's a 2. I can say 3 divided by 3 and 6 divided by 3. That's a 2, that's a 1. I can say 5 divided by 5, 5 divided by 5. That's a 1, that's a 1. So I get 1 and 4. So my whole answer is 1/4, right? Because 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 1 is 1/4. As long as you are canceling something from the top and something from the bottom, you're good, right? I can't cancel, for instance, this 4 and this 6 because they're both on the bottom. So I have to do a top and the bottom. Okay, so back to units and rates. So if I go 4 miles per hour, so 4 miles per 1 hour, for 2 hours, how far have I gone? 4 miles per 1 hour times 2 hours. Okay, so my answer is going to be in miles, right? How far? So miles. I can write it a different way, cancel out hours. And I have 4 times 2, and my units are going to be miles, so I have 8 miles, right? Okay, that's pretty simple. So my goal with this is to cancel unit. I'm not going to worry. I can cancel numbers if I have them. I'm not going to worry so much about this. This lesson's mostly about canceling units. So example 1 says multiply 55 miles per hour by 6 hours. Okay, so that 55 miles for every hour, 55 miles for every hour per hour times 6 hours. Look, I can either rewrite it or I can just cancel the hours because I have a top and a bottom. And then I can say 55 times 6, and I end up with miles left over. So 330 miles. So remember, go back and check. What are they asking me to find? Miles per hour by 6 hours. Excuse me. So they want me to find out how many miles I've gone. If that gets confusing, chop it down to 2 hours and see if you can think of it that way. Like, oh, for 2 hours, 110 miles. And then figure out how you did it that way. And then you can do the same method for more hours or for more complicated numbers. The questions sometimes ask for a distance, how far, and sometimes ask for a time, how long. So be sure and look at the question to figure out what you want to end up with. In this case, I want to end up with miles, okay? Example 2, 5 feet times 12 inches per foot. So remember, per is the division or the fraction bar. So I have my 5 feet and my 12 inches per 1 foot. So I can cancel the feet, and I have 5 times 12. My inches stay, so I know I want the inches to be my answer, so I get 60 inches. If this confuses you, put a 1 under it, and then it makes it a little bit easier to see, like just multiplying fractions. So remember, you can cancel units as long as you take 1 from the top and 1 from the bottom that have the same factor or that are the same unit, okay? There are complicated examples on the website. If it confuses you, skip it. I'll put them down below the videos. In lesson 114, I think, is the one, it's going to get a little more complicated, but boy, does it make life easier. Just as a challenge, if you want to figure out how many seconds are in a day, you can kind of use unit ratios. You do not have to, however. So good luck. Email me if you need help. Bye.